You're all here. Glad everybody made it. We had some really cool things happen last month. So I'll update you on those things as we go through the meeting. But first of all, we'll start with our happy bucks, which we're calling merry money or fun funds or whatever you want to call it, since we're not only dealing in dollars. And I'm going to start because I'm super proud of my kid. He made a super cool investment last week. His first major investment. So he bought a classic car. And so this year we're going to consider that his sophomore year project. So anyway, he's super excited. And if you want to know more about it, you need to check out my Facebook page because it's everywhere. But anyway, that's super cool. So I will donate money on our Facebook page at the end of our meeting. Does anybody else have something super happy to report on?
I have a new grandson.
Hey,
I will deposit some merry money or happy bucks or whatever they're being called.
I can't decide what to call
when I was in Bowling Green, Ohio, my first Rotary Club, and Will was born. They hadn't had a young member in so damn long that they charged you $10 a pound. Will was almost 9 pounds. He did not have that kind of money and still be able to buy diapers. Don't tell anybody how much your grandson weighs, Matt, because he gets really expensive.
He was actually a peanut because he originally was a twin, and unfortunately we lost one.
Oh.
But he was 7 pounds 1 ounce and 20 inches long. So.
Oh my. Well, congratulations. What is his name?
His name is Dean Gregory Baker.
And in the rankings, is this first, third? Where are you?
This is the 4th grandchild.
Okay.
2nd grandson.
Speaking of grandkids, my 3 daughters are back in school this week. Yay.
Is that a happy buck from you, David?
Yes.
We have a happy buck soon, at least.
Okay.
We had our good friends, one of my classmates as a district governor, George and Colleen Wood came. They were in Cleveland at a trade show, and they called us up, and we got together and we went to the Elyria Rotary meeting together, but I hadn't seen them in like 5 years. So great reunion.
And Chuck, did you have one?
I am happy to report that it stopped raining in Maine for 2 days.
Well, it hasn't stopped raining here.
Oh, that means we're going to get it again. Thanks a whole bunch.
You're welcome.
We can blame the West Coast, but they're not on. Emily's not here. We can't blame her yet.
I need to send some down to Tucson.
Yeah,
Down there.
probably so. Anybody else have a happy buck?
I'm
Penny does.
I'll throw one in. Steve and I are, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Steve and I are just back from a trip to Santa Barbara where we watched our niece make her debut in opera. She played Musetta in La Boheme, and she was fantastic.
Nice.
That's cool. Will she stay out there or?
No, she is now on Friday going to begin her master's program at Curtis Institute of Music in Philadelphia.
Oh, she's the other side. All right. Wow, that's amazing. Fantastic. Anybody else? Any other hands? Bob.
I might have them both off the payroll here soon. So.
So is that a happy buck, Ken?
Oh yeah, that's the savings are going to be enormous, Chris. I'm just throwing.
Yes.
Using them on some free labor now.
Well, Bob wants one too. Go for it.
Well, I have 2.
Oh, good.
For 2 of my granddaughters, one of whom just had successful surgery, which we're grateful for. And her older sister is now working for the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh,
So-
cool. What's she doing?
I'm sorry?
What is she doing?
Well, she's a summer intern with the Ravens, so she goes and does all the kinds of things that they need done with the public who comes to view the practices. So there's all kind of connections between linking players with interviews and making sure that guests come in and are treated properly. There's a whole variety of different tasks they've assigned to her, but it's all a nice big learning experience and great on her career path.
How tall is she? What does she look like compared to all those guys?
Well, compared to them, she's a midget. Those are some big people, but she's about 5'9".
Oh. Anybody else? That's really cool. I'm not a Ravens fan, but that's still really cool.
I
Alyssa.
have a happy moment. One
right.
of my sons-in-law was promoted, so he has a new job and they're moving to Nebraska and they are all very, very happy. And grandma will be traveling to see them probably in a month or so. So that's one of many other happy moments. So yes,
Good.
I'm happy
Very
for that.
nice. That's awesome. What great news today. Anything else before we move on to business? Which is far less exciting. All right, well, let me give you a couple real quick updates on some things that have been going on with us, our club. So first of all, Steve, immediate past president Steve, is starting work on a strategic plan for our club, which I think is really important. He is assembling people who are very interested in that. So Steve, do you want to say anything at all about that? You're muted. Go ahead.
Not anymore. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna try and get together. It looks like now it's gonna work for next Monday evening, and we'll try and throw something together. But I think it's gonna be nice to use when we recruit people, and just to have some focus about where our club is going and where we've been, and keep us on a good path. So we'll try and put that together. We've got people like Mr. Matt, our next president, who has been teaching this stuff for years. And so I expect you to really have some good ideas on this whole thing, because I'm just throwing stuff out there that I got from other sources. So we'll try and pull it together next week and get a first draft done and let you guys see it at the next board meeting.
And in line with that, at our board meeting last week, we talked a little bit about a more specific, a more defined onboarding list for new members. Of course, Jim has been doing this all by himself. So we had discussion last week at the board meeting about ways the sponsor could get involved, as well as the other members in the club. So Jim should not have to do that all alone. And we were thinking of how to educate and engage new members at the same time as they come into the club. So that is also a discussion that we're having. And on the note of club involvement, I wanted to give you a couple of details of how we were involved in July. So some of this is really good news and some of it's bad news. Like, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I identified 5 areas of service or involvement rather. One was the monthly meeting. One was watching videos that Elda works very, very hard at putting out for us on our Facebook page. Financial contributions to our service projects. The service project that we did last month, like an actual hands-on service project, and our social meeting. And looking at all of those 5 areas and the number of people that we have in our club, there's good news and bad news. Like, some of us are super involved, which is normal, and some of us are not involved at all. The good news is that 81% of our membership was engaged in July in one way or another. And many of those people were engaged in every single avenue, which is really fantastic. There were 8 members that weren't engaged at all in July. So I think as a club, we need to try to reach those people and help to re-engage everyone so that they can feel connected to our club. So if there's someone that you know that's not coming to our monthly meeting or that doesn't seem to feel connected to the club, reach out to them by all means, or let me know and I will do that myself. But it's really fun to see how people have been touched by this club and what they're doing. Like even in July, which is what I would think would be a very down month, because people are traveling and super busy with family and that sort of thing. Even in a down month, we're at 81% involved. So I think that's really, really positive. And I'm excited that perhaps we can keep that number building through the year. So anyway, I'm glad that mostly everybody that's on this call has been engaged in one way or another in the past month, and that's all great. So that takes me to the service project. Last month, we did have our service project for the month of July, our hands-on service project. So DG Jim, we are involved in, in Mesa and in our Guatemala literacy project and other very large projects. We are talking about, the water project we've been contemplating. But last month we tried to do a personal hands-on project since we are not together as a group. So last month we challenged the membership to do encouragement rocks, which you simply went outside and picked up 10 rocks and colored them with encouraging notes and put them in the parks. And that is where Cassie showed you what she had done under the influence of alcohol. However, she still did it. It doesn't matter, right? This is not including her, or actually some updates that I've got just now. We had rocks placed on 3 continents and over 130 rocks placed by our membership. And I think that's really cool because we don't know what one of those rocks might have done to stop a suicide or a very depressed teen or something like that. So I think that's huge. And I would encourage you that if you have not done that project for the month of July, that you can do it. So, I encourage you to do it. Everyone who did it had a really good time doing it and even got sent out. Some of the stories are fun, sent out to do another batch of rocks. So I think that's great. So our service project for August is also a personal involvement thing, but a little bit different. We're going to focus this month on our girls in Guatemala for the co-op, the literacy co-op. So my challenge for you in the month of August is going to take a little bit of time, same amount of time probably as the rocks did. And we are going to write letters to the 5 girls that this club supports in the Guatemala Cooperative for Education project. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about them very quickly. And I've already assigned each of you to a girl. So you know what that means, right? If you don't write your letter and the person in front of you in the alphabet doesn't write a letter and the person behind you in the alphabet doesn't write a letter, that girl may not get a letter, which would be a really sad thing. So anyway, on our website is a bio on each of the girls, but I'm going to just give you briefly something on each of them. Claudia, 9th grade. She gets very good grades, she says, and she's eager to improve herself. Why? To help her mother. She knows that the benefit of her going to school will benefit her family in the long run. And that is one of the amazing things about this project, that it truly does break the cycle of poverty. And so if your last name starts with an A, B, C, D, or E, you're assigned to Claudia. All right. If your last name starts with a G, H, I, J, or K, you're assigned to Jessica. Jessica is also in 9th grade. She wants to support her family by studying criminology. She enjoys reading, drawing, playing sports, crafts, and that's how she de-stresses, is what she said. If your last name starts with an L, M, N, O, or P, you're assigned to Louisa. Louisa is in 9th grade. Her favorite subject is English, and she likes pop music. She watches videos, and the choreography is something she learns in her free time. She likes drawing and reading. If your last name starts with H, I, J, R, or S, does R or S, you get Nancy. She's the youngest of our 5. She's in 8th grade. Her favorite subject is artistic expression. So you should draw a little picture on there. She loves to play soccer. She wants to be a doctor. If your name starts with W or Y, so team, I'm a W. We need to suck it up. It's just the very end of the alphabet. We get Shayla, and she is in 9th grade. She's the youngest of 4 kids. She gets good grades, but do you want to know why she gets good grades? Because she wants to make her parents proud, and she wants to make Pathways Rotary proud, which is incredible. And if you read the bios on the girls, it's interesting how many of them say, if it weren't for Pathways Rotary, I would not be going to school at all. Like this is very important to them. So you also can sponsor a kid. One of these girls, we actually need more sponsors in the club. It's a minimum of $10 per month. If this is something you're interested in doing, all you have to do is go to our website, and there is a donate button that you can plug into. One statistic, 95% of poor and rural students never graduate from high school. So the whole goal of this program is to get them through high school and out of the poverty cycle. So go to pathwaysrotary.org, click on projects, go down to Guatemala Cooperative for Education, read more, and you will see Sue Hunt's face there. And underneath it says, click here, and you click that, and you'll be able to donate on that page. If you didn't catch all that, watch this video again. You can. It's actually really simple. Just go to our website. All right, if you don't remember what your number or your girl is, you can ask me later. Okay, Matt, our PE, put your hand up or say something so you pop up on the people that are only watching the main speaker, Matt. Matt has volunteered to translate all of the letters into Spanish so that the girls can get the letter in their own language. That's something Cooperative for Education actually does, but we thought as board that it would relieve them of some of the obligation, the time and commitment that it would take to get the letters into Spanish from our end rather than forcing them to do it. So we're going to send them to Matt, and Matt's email is on DACDB. But if you don't know what DACDB is, it's our database. And our database, but I'll tell you, no, Matt, you tell them what your email address is so your face comes up and they know who they're sending it to. You're on mute. You have to say that all again.
CMAT.Peabody@gmail.com. And I will send it in the chat thing too.
Oh, that would be awesome. So Ken just asked online if I can send this out in an email. Yes, certainly. And in case you didn't see it last month, if you're not on our Facebook page, it would benefit you to get on our Facebook page because we are posting like recaps of the meetings, links to the recorded meetings that people have missed, because there are things you can't do. Jim, yeah.
I'm remiss to introduce Amber Fisher is here as a guest. Amber is a member of the Elyria Rotary Club, and she also helps support the students. So maybe she'd like to be part of this assignment too.
Amber, that would be awesome. I saw your face and I actually panicked and thought, oh my gosh, this is another member I've never like connected to. So I was feeling really, really uncomfortable with you there. I mean, you look so happy, but I felt like I dropped the ball. So I'm very glad that you're visiting and that it's not my mind. But welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So our social meeting last month, in case you didn't know, we added a social meeting, and this meeting has no speaker per se, but we talked about our first jobs, and it was a fantastic meeting. We had people from 5 countries, members that we don't always see or hardly ever see at this meeting because it's the middle of the night in Europe and it's the middle of the night in Africa. So we had 5 different countries come. We were missing Asia and Australia because of the timing. But our next social meeting is going to be at a totally different time. So write this down. August the 28th, which is a Monday, but we are going to be meeting at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it will be our morning, very early. And by the way, I hate early morning, but I'm willing to sacrifice. Early morning on Monday, the 28th for us, which will be afternoon, early afternoon for Europe and Africa, and evening for Australia, Taiwan, and Japan. So if you guys can put that down, that'd be great. We'd love to have more people there. It was really a cool, fun meeting. And if you'd like to see the recording of that one, it's also available. All right. It's time to introduce our speaker, who is such a cool guy. I met Jim for the first time, probably at District Assembly. Oh, maybe not. I might have met you somewhere else before that, but I think it was District Assembly where I actually met. No, you came out and met me.
It was the Vermilion High School.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Sue took me to that meeting and I met you there and we chatted the first time and I was very impressed with you. And I think you're such a solid guy. I hate reading scripted junk, but I'll do it because you're important. So Jim is the district governor, and that means he is the big poo-paw, is what we used to say in our district. So I'm going to read this. He's in charge of us. So we are on our best behavior. Everyone knew that you were coming. We are on our best behavior. But I will read to you his bio. It goes like this. Jim Duke is a member of the Vermilion Rotary Club. Jim held club positions of membership chair, finance chair, and was club president for 2 years. Ouch. During his term as club president, the Vermilion Rotary Club achieved the Presidential Citation and the Every Rotarian Every Year Award. At the district level, he has served as an assistant governor, district conference chair, and chief of staff to the governor. Jim has supported or led numerous local service projects in the Vermilion area, and Jim supports the Rotary Foundation and is currently a Paul Harris 4 times over. Paul Harris Fellow. Jim's a strong believer in the environment. He's making the environment one of his top priorities during his year as governor. And I'm sure he's thrilled that Ray is part of our club. Jim spent most of his life growing up and living in the Toledo area. Jim and his wife, Christine, spelled the same way as mine, moved to the city of Vermilion several years ago. Vermilion's a small town located on the shores of Lake Erie. He enjoys summer activities such as golf, boating, and travel. Recently, on a trip to Vermont, Jim hiked up Camel's Hump, the 3rd highest peak in Vermont. Jim is on the Vermilion Ritter Library Foundation Board, which supports the continued growth of the local library. He's retired from the BP Oil Company, and during his career, he held supervision and leadership roles in several refinery departments. Jim also owned and operated a full-service car wash in the city of Perrysburg. Before you start your remarks, I want you to tell us one experience. This cannot be part of your presentation, your scripted stuff. Tell us one experience that you had as a Rotarian or a pre-Rotarian. I was a pre-Rotarian for a couple years. That wowed you, that made you say, oh my goodness, this is what Rotary service is all about. So give us an example of that and then tell us your presentation. And we are standing and clapping. We're supposed to stand up, but
Well, after you read that bio, I didn't realize I did all that stuff, so.
yeah, you did. You wrote it.
So I will have to say the first district conference that I attended, I think it was Gary Newton's district conference. That was really an eye opener for me. Just meeting people from all over the district, connecting with a lot of people, just realizing just how big of an organization this is. That was probably my aha moment for Rotary, that this is a good deal. This is really a good deal. So it's up to me now to talk.
Perfect. Carry on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I came on a little bit early, and just in the short period of time that I've been on, you guys have got a really good group. Very engaging. Everybody's talking. Everybody's having a lot of fun, and that's what a Rotary Club should be. So my hat's off to you. You got a really good group here. And I was just asked recently, what's the one thing that I look forward to in my governor year? And I didn't even have to think about that. That was an easy one for me. It was visiting clubs, because I've visited a lot of clubs, did a lot of service projects with other clubs, attended fundraisers and such, but I haven't attended them all. And so just visiting new clubs that I've never been to before, that was probably what I look forward to the most during my governor year. And I have to tell you a story. My very first experience visiting another club, Sue Hunt was probably still with the Vermilion Club then as secretary, but we're encouraged as new Rotarians to visit other clubs. And personally, I didn't really see the value of that. I said, why should I visit another club? What's the big deal with that? So, but I did. I was a new Rotarian and I wanted to do the right thing. So there was a club real close to ours in Huron, Ohio. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go down there and give it a shot. I'm going to go down there. And so walked in there and I was greeted politely and friendly, and they had the welcoming table, and they actually made me feel really welcome there. I got in the food line, and I'm in the food line, and some gentleman comes up to me and he says, "You're not from our club, are you?" And I said, "No, I'm not. I'm a guest. Why don't you come to our table and sit with us, and we can talk?" And I thought, wow, that was really good. And we sat and we had a great conversation, and everybody at that table made me feel welcome. And they recognized me at the club meeting. And when I left, I thought, wow, there is more to just Vermilion. That was a great experience. And because my first experience traveling to their club was such a great experience, it encouraged me to visit other clubs. And as I did, the experiences were the same. And I thought, wow, this is really a great organization. I sort of like fell into it. It's like I didn't realize this. I just joined Rotary to give back to my local community, and it's turned out to be a lot more. And I mentioned when I went to my first district conference that very same year, now I've met people from all over the district, all over the state. And I came back and I thought, I hit the lottery here. I really did. It's something that I really didn't expect. I got a lot more from Rotary than I was giving. It seemed like it's such a fantastic organization, and I stayed for the fellowship. And that's what I think you folks have here tonight. I think you've got a great fellowship in front of you, and you talk a lot, you engage a lot, and everybody's friendly. And that's what's kept me within Rotary, is that fellowship. And in the clubs, it's like I mentioned, going to different clubs. The clubs and the club members are an important part of our organization, maybe the most important part, because when you look at it, everything that we do at the club level. You talked about your service projects, foundation giving to polio, if you've done any grants, fundraisers, everything that we do revolves around the club. The clubs are doing that stuff. And so without the clubs, this organization probably wouldn't be what it is today. So it's very important what we're doing at the club level. So I don't want anybody to ever feel that they're not important or your club's not important, no matter how big or how small. We're all an important piece to this organization. And that sort of leads me into Rotary's action plan. And I don't want to confuse that with a strategic plan. Rotary has 4 steps in their action plan. And I'm not going to put anybody to sleep here, but it's expand your reach, increase your impact, increase participation, and the ability to adapt. And that falls into the clubs. And you guys are actually doing a really good job at a lot of these. And I'm going to tell you why. So, the increase your impact, that's service projects. So when you do a service project, for example, you mentioned writing those letters, you're going to make an impact in somebody's life. You're going to perk them up. They're going to feel better. And you're creating hope when you do that. And so when you do that, that's increasing your impact. And the rock project that you just did, when somebody views that rock, that's going to bring a smile to their face. You're creating an impact when you do that. And so when Rotary says increase your impact, what they're saying by that is, increase your service projects. And not only increase your service projects, but get more people involved in your projects. I know, Chris, you said at the very beginning, you had 80%, I believe you said, as far as participation. Honestly, that is a really high number in my experience with Rotary. So have that many people participating in projects. My hat's off to you. I think you're doing a fantastic job with that. So when Rotary says increase your impact, I think you guys are right on the mark there. Just keep doing what you're doing. And when they say expand your reach, the pathways, I'm like, you are expanding your reach. It doesn't get any better than that. I mean, you're the perfect example of expanding your reach. So, like spread your wings. And I can't think of anything better than what you guys are already doing. So, as when you speak of the action plan, you guys are a great example of what the action plan is. Increase your impact, expand your reach. And if you do 1 and 2, you're going to automatically increase your participation. And I wish I could say that correctly, but I can't, but it's just not coming off my tongue right. But you're doing a great job with all that. And my hand's off to you guys. So it's fantastic. I want to talk a little bit about the fourth one, which is the ability to adapt. And once again, and it's like you guys are doing a great job at that, because when Rotary was founded, it revolved around a work day of 9 to 5, an hour for lunch. And it was that way for a long time. And that's why you have that noon lunch meeting. It was just common. It went that way for decades. But as we progressed as in the United States, especially, we started to drift away from that 9 to 5 workday. And especially post-COVID, as you may notice, a lot of people are working from home. The 9 to 5 workday is slowly going away. And because of that, Rotary needs to adapt. And we need to adapt, for example, so meeting online is Zoom. And what you just did, you're going to meet at, have a social event at 7 a.m. on the 28th. That's a really good way of adapting because you're changing your time. So the ability to adapt is important because for us to survive as an organization, we have to be able to adapt. It's 2023 now, and when I end my term, it's going to be 2024. So you guys are doing a great job of adapting. So, when you look at the Rotary Action Plan, the pathways, you guys are hitting the mark on all of them. So fantastic job. I just want to congratulate you on that. And when I was actually thinking about what I was going to say tonight, I don't really have a scripted presentation per se. I don't try to wing it per se, but I want to get people involved, and I want to be able to connect with folks, and I think you guys are really doing a great job at that. And so when I talked about everything that we do at the club level, I want to circle back around the Rotary Foundation. And there seems to be a little bit of a misconception about that, and I'm going to try to clear that up tonight. A lot of people, when they give to the Rotary Foundation, specifically the annual fund share portion, they think that money's gone. It just goes. Like Rotary has it now, and we don't have any control over it, and I'll never see it again, and I don't know what it's doing. And that's not the case. It's just not the case with the Rotary Foundation annual fund share. When you give to that, we control that money. That money comes back to us as our district. And I'll give you a great example of that. And Amber, is Amber still on the call? Yes. Right now, we just approved close to $60,000 approximately. I don't have the exact number. I think Amber might have it, but $60,000 in grants were just approved, for our district. And that's money that our Rotarians gave, in our district. And that money came right back to us. And that money for those grants, that's going to create an impact in somebody's life. And so we control that money. Amber, can you jump in real quick and let me know what the exact number was? Do you have that?
Sorry, I don't have it right off the top. I can look it up.
It was right around 60 grand, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a lot of money. And we gave that money and it came back and it allowed us to make an impact on people's lives. So we actually controlled that. We controlled where that money went. And there's another piece of another large amount of money that people aren't aware of. It's not well advertised, but it's 2.5 times the size of that our district has available for global grants and international projects. There's a large amount, it's in well into hundreds of thousands of dollars that our district has available to us. And right now we're taking a close look at that as far as what international projects we can be involved in. And that money came from us. That came from money that you gave when you donated to the Rotary Foundation annual fund share. That's where that money came from. So when somebody asks you to give to the foundation, we have that money. We control that money. That's sort of our money. So that's sort of a misconception that I wanted to clear up tonight, because we do a lot of good with that. We change people's lives for the better with everything that we do with that foundation money. So I highly encourage, and I think you guys are probably going to be well on, and we've got polio month coming on. We have October. I know you guys have probably got something planned for that. And then we have foundation month in November. And so I'm sure you guys are going to be doing well for that as well. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about the foundation and how much grant money we've given out this year. It was pretty successful. So I was really happy with that. And then you mentioned the environment. The environment is important to me, and I'll tell you why. This is our planet. We live here, and we should be taking care of it. And I've told my environmental chair, Mike Noble, that I'm not looking after that big signature environmental project. I'm not looking after. I don't care if I have that or not. I'd rather see every single club do something small and get every club involved in the environment in some way. So I know some clubs have started a pollinator garden. They've planted trees. It doesn't have to be big. It can be very small, but at least it gets you involved in the environment, and that makes an impact. And so those small projects tend to be big over a large amount of time. So if you look back at the people that have planted trees 10 or 15 years ago, take a look at them today, right? So I highly encourage, and I'm not sure how Pathways would do it, but if you can do an environmental project, or each one of you just plant a tree somewhere, then you're making a change in the environment for the good. So it's our planet. I think we should take care of it, and that. And I'd like to close with, I know Chris can back me up here, that All Ohio Pets, the Pets organization, it's important that we have a succession plan. I know, Matt, I think you're coming in after Chris, is that right?
That's correct.
So Chris attended All Ohio Pets last year. I know some of you, because of your location, you won't be able to attend that, and I get it. But it's been shown that the president-elects that attend All Ohio Pets, their clubs have a better chance for success. They actually do better. They're better engaged, because Pets, it says All Ohio President-elect Training Seminar. The T, we're going to start moving away from that T, because it sort of implies that we're going to do training. It's more about motivating, engaging, inspiring. That's the way the path we're taking towards Pets. We're going to do the training somewhere else at another time, but it's more about, and Chris, can you jump in real quick and tell me about your experience real quick with All Ohio Pets?
Actually, All Ohio Pets is one of my favorite Rotary events. Just because of my involvement before this club. I attended All Ohio Pets every year. So, and I was in Columbus, so it was really easy to attend Pets. But I think it is a huge springboard for experienced Rotarians and not so experienced Rotarians, because it's a connection. It's a easy way to get plugged in and to feel not so lost in what the big picture looks like for Rotary. So I do think it's really, really important. Matt is in Michigan, so I'm not sure if it would be a problem to plug Matt into a Michigan version of Pets, or if we would have to bring him down to the Buckeye States, which
No, actually,
I'm not sure if he would hate that or not.
no, he can attend a PES up there actually. And there is one, I wish I knew the name of it offhand, but they do have a multi-district PES up there as well. Oh,
Yeah.
it's in the Lansing area, I'm not sure, but I'd have to look it up, but they have a multi-district PES up there too, so. Yeah, Ken Robinson, yeah, the Great Lakes PES, so thanks for bringing it up, Ken, so. Yeah, I would highly encourage Matt to attend that one.
It is very valuable, and you get to plug into the leadership of the district, and it's just good for Rotarians at every single level. Like a PE, it's good, but it's good for DGs to plug into each other, and it just is a place where you feed off the energy of speakers and just other leaders, and that's so cool. It's just a fantastic event. It's my favorite event,
Yeah.
more than the RI convention, honestly.
Great, well, boy, no pressure now to keep that up, right?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of pressure, so keep it up.
Great, so I'd like to close, not on a somber note, but in the last 10 years, our district has lost close to 1,000 members, which is a really large number. And so if we look at our future, see, I drank the Kool-Aid, I'm all in. I want Rotary to be here 10, 20 years from now. I want this organization to last. So if that trend continues, we have to ask ourselves, will we be here 20 years from now? And I want us to be. I want this organization to be here 20 years from now. So I know it took us 10 years to get where we're at, and it might take us 10 years to get back where we were before, but we need to reverse that trend. And it's just slowly. I mean, if we just, I'm not saying flip a switch and get back there next year, but I think what you're doing is great. And so I just would say, just keep up what you're doing. If we can ask each club to bring in a net 2 every year, you know, that's roughly 100 people a year, and the next 10 years we'll be back to where we started. But I would just like to just turn that trend line back up in the right direction, because everything that Rotary's given back to me, I'd like to give back to Rotary, and I'd like to see us survive. So if everybody here can help me out and try to help me make sure Rotary's here in the future, I would really appreciate it. So I don't have anything else. I'm encourage anybody to ask me any questions. I hope I have the answer for them.
While we're waiting for people to get the courage, I have courage. So I want to mention that for sure we will do an environmental project as one of our monthly projects. So you heard our first 2, probably around spring, we'll focus on a pollination project, since we have Ray in our club and his guidance, but we'll definitely do that as a challenge for one of our service projects, so you don't have to worry about that. But since District Governor Jim mentioned it, I would like to start encouraging you to bring new members to our club meetings, or if it's more convenient to bring them to a social meeting, they are more than welcome to attend one of the social meetings as well. Again, it's much less formal. Last month we had a really good time and laughed a lot, and it was just really fun. So if you can get that date on your calendar and attend with a potential member, that would also be great. So does anybody have a question for the district governor? All you people that have turned your faces off, I can't see if your hands are up or not. Ah, come on.
It's okay.
Cassie, go ahead. Cassandra.
I just was wondering, as somebody who recently transferred clubs, I was in Perrysburg for years, and is there an official move to get people to know about this? Because without Ken and Julie, I would not have known about the online option.
Oh, the pathways. Is there you know what? So our newsletter is actually going to go out. I'm actually working on our newsletter right now, which is going to go out next week. So I'm going to actually put a blurb in the newsletter about the Pathways Club. How's that sound?
Yeah, well, and I'm also wondering if it should be something from a surviving Rotary as a whole and district as a whole, is that it becomes a process within each of the clubs that if somebody decides that they are going to quit, that there's automatically a letter that goes out, did you know, or that we get their contact information and we get an option, do you know, or something like that. Cause
We talked,
again,
and Jim and I have to start drinking because Jim Hunt and I have been trying that for a long time. Just
okay, all right.
I
We've all been trying it, and we've been trying it through DAC-DB, but we kept getting a brick wall that we ran into. We kept asking if when somebody was terminated, that an automatic message couldn't go out that said if an online club wouldn't work for you, there is pathways, but nobody that had anything to do with DAC-DB at the upper levels was listening to us. So, we've been trying.
I'm gonna work on that. You know what? I'm on a mission now. So
okay, good.
When I get on a mission, but I will say for some reason that the handover between last year's Rotary and this year, DAC-DB didn't work real well. We had a lot of issues with the handover with DAC-DB.
Yeah, we did.
It was really bad. So, but you know what? I'm going to tackle this one. I'm going to work hard on this one.
Well,
We would love that.
Yeah, the thing that happens when a member is terminated, I believe an automatic message goes out. At least, I don't know, maybe not. An automatic message goes out when a new member comes in. That is something that is from the district governor that welcomes. So I'm wondering if there's a way to get an automatic message to a terminated member from the district governor saying, if you haven't thought about it, there is an online club you might be interested in looking into. I don't know.
You know what? So there's an automated message. If somebody has a birthday, it comes from me.
Right.
There's an automated message that if there's a new member that comes in, it's from me. I don't know why there can't be the same message for a term. So I'm going to look into it. I will look at it. I promise.
Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent.
Okay. I hope I didn't take up too much of your time.
Eloisa has a question. Unmute yourself.
Ma'am. Jim, it's been a pleasure listening to you. And Sue did send me a message because she saw my eyes lighting up, and they did several times. Number one, we're involved with our club and a club in Mexico with the Mesa project. So we're on our third shipment. Hopefully tomorrow there's another visit to the Fostoria warehouse, Mesa warehouse. Sorry. And they'll be bringing in another shipment, a smaller one on Wednesday or Thursday. And then there's still another pending shipment. So we're very happy and we're very grateful. And as we did this project and before, we became very aware of the desperate situation in the area where we do the Mesa project. Malnutrition, starvation, death in children and in women. So that put us in a food delivery situation and projects that we've been doing. But then, because we want to move into sustainable projects, we got to know an organization in Mexico that works, in my opinion, very, very well at the professional level, and they're doing water harvesting systems. And this is the sustainability that we're looking, because they don't have any clean water. They have to travel kilometers to get a couple of buckets to bring home. And of course, you know, the illness, the disease, the lack of productivity that they have, et cetera, et cetera. So we are, we've already committed through a nonprofit, Creation Care International, that Bob Cook started many years ago. And we brought it up again, we gave it some life, and we've been working through that. But now we're aiming, we have a goal of obtaining a global grant. So that's where, you know, as I heard what you're doing, you know, and your intention, your goals, to me, that brings a lot of hope. So you will be probably receiving an invitation to attend the meeting that we had with the cadre so that we would be well informed and knowledgeable enough to pursue the global grant. And then, of course, if you visit our website, www.creationcareinternational.org, you will also get a glimpse of an environmental project that we have that is also sustainable. It's also in this indigenous area, extreme poverty area. And there's also, well, we're hoping that we can pursue that too. So we have several things going on. You can take your pick. We would love for you to join us. I am so happy. I called Bob prior to the meeting and I said, Bob Cook, and I said, you better attend this meeting because Jim is here already. So I'm very happy. Thank you for being here. Bob, take it away before I take up all the time. Please share your perspectives, your thoughts. Unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Bob.
Yeah, okay.
Unmute there.
Well, I think, Eloisa, you've explained things very, very well. And all of these things mean that there is opportunity for the Pathways Club if we choose to do it. If we go for a global grant, there has to be a sponsoring club, which could be us, it could be somebody else. But for Eloisa and me, you're our home club. So we want to come to you first. Obviously, that means that there's going to have to be some fundraising done of some sort because the sponsoring club has to put up some money. But all of that will be explained when we have our next meeting with the cadre. And Chris, Steve, I know, and Jim all, I think have received invitations already. Jim's successor, Tim Ryan, while he has time that Jim doesn't have right now, has suggested that he'd be willing to go down to Mexico and take a look at this projects with Captar for capturing water. And I'm going to go along. We would welcome somebody else from the Pathways Club if there's anybody who would be interested in joining us. It'll be sometime the end of October or the first part of November for only 5 days. And Eloisa can tell you a little bit more about the itinerary, but I think it's important for us to go down there and have people knowledgeable besides just one or two of us about what's going on and how we intend to help these people. You want to explain that itinerary, Eloisa?
I'll be very brief. I'm considering time. It's an assessment trip. And of course, our intention is to for people from the US that to come and actually see the situation, how it is that they're living. Because one thing is for me to tell you about it and to tell you stories, but when you're there, your heart is really, really touched, and you cannot come back home, and not having an impact on that 3 days that you'll be spending there. 2 for traveling from the US to Chihuahua, and 3 more. There will be a training workshop on how to install a water harvest system. We will have time to engage and share with some chiefs, tribal chiefs, and all of this squeezed in 3 days, but we're planning a wonderful experience for all of you. There will be a stop at the Copper Canyon. There will be the tourist attraction. It won't be a long one, but you'll have enough time to get that wonderful view and experience. And then hopefully come back to some fellowship with the Chihuahua Campestre Rotary Club. And on that note, to pursue this grant, Jim, we are attending, I am planning to attend the Zone Institute coming up pretty soon. That was the recommendation. So today I finally received the instructions how to set the table. So we're getting ready to do that too. So if you're going to be there, it will be wonderful to see you. I don't know if you'll be there again or not, but it'll be a great experience for us too, to be able to share the project with other clubs in the different zones and districts that will be attending. So, you know, we're doing our best. We're moving, we're taking action, because we do want to make an impact and save more lives. We've done this through MESA, we've done this through the food, we're doing it now through the clean water, so we want to expand also. So thank you
So-
for listening, okay?
So,
Thank
so
you for
real
being.
quick, yeah, so real quick, I will be at Zone, but also at Zone will be our International Service Chair, Andy Bone. So we've already talked and we'll be looking for projects down there that we can get involved in.
Louisa, can we only send one additional person from our club? What if there are a couple that want to go?
Oh, that would be lovely. The more the merrier, the
That's
more
what
the
I
merrier.
thought you would say.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
All right, so that's an open
Mhm.
call. If anybody's interested in going down with that sort of arrowhead, you know, the point of the spear, we're going to, as many people as want to go to represent us, that would be awesome. So of course, consider it. If there are no other big questions, I'm gonna wrap it up because we're at 9 o'clock. We can hang on a little bit after the meeting is over if you want to stick around. Jim, do you have a minute that you can
Yeah.
hang around? Okay,
Sure.
so if you would like to ask him something off the record, we'll turn the recording off. But before we do